Culberson, Prince Fleet Easton, Ann Britt, and Glass. And of course, our famous 5 points. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for the one, the only, Sherrod!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. How are you all doing this evening? Everybody doing all right?
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to see everybody who is here this evening. We have a very, very special show. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we have an uber talented show. You know, we have musical royalty in the building. We have a gentleman who's produced for Aretha Franklin, Kanye West, Stevie Wonder, some of the biggest names. He's returning on the Sherrod Show. The man himself. Give it up for Mr. Preston Glass on the Sherrod Show returning. Then we have a young lady who is a master pianist. She can sing, she can write, and she can perform all the way from Palm Springs, ladies and gentlemen. The lovely Ann Britt on the Sherrod Show. Then we have a young lady who has no problem jumping out of vehicles while they're moving or even when they're catching on fire. She's a beautiful young stunt woman, the lovely Jessica Culberson on the Sherrod Show. The funny thing about it, she brings new meaning to My Pants Are on Fire. So we can't wait to talk to her as well. And then we have a gentleman. We're going to play his song. He has a song that's currently on Spotify. It's actually launching tomorrow. It's one of the most beautiful Christmas songs you'll ever hear, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here on the Sherrod Show. He's also all the way from Palm Springs. The man himself, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton. First time on the Sherrod Show. Give him a round of applause as well. Yeah. So excited to have him on. And he's actually dressed in royalty, so we're so excited to have him on. But before we get started, you know, there's a lot of things going on in the news, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about. You want to hear about what's going on in the news?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Do you not know whose birthday is today?
Whose birthday is it?
He was on a show that did a move like da-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Anybody know that tune? Dick Van Dyke is 100 years old today, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause. 100 years old. You know, he's so old that his Social Security number is 1. You know, do you believe that? He was born on December 13th, 1925. Can you believe that? 100 years ago. Imagine, your parents probably weren't even born, or even your grandparents in 1925, huh? Some of you all may have been around. I don't know. But he's been around for 100 years, and he's looking to be around 100 more. So the man himself, Mr. Dick Van Dyke, so excited for his birthday as well. Also, ladies and gentlemen, something that's pretty cool as well. Speaking of old, Joe, you love sports. You'll like this part. Phillip Rivers is going to be starting for the Indianapolis Colts tomorrow. Why is that significant? Yeah. Because the man is 44 years old, making a comeback. He hasn't played football for 5 years, and he's coming back to play. So that gives a new meaning to Old Man River, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Phillip is going to be the one, and now they're going to have an ambulance out there, so as soon as he throws the ball and get hit, they're going to make sure that he's okay, for those out there, just to let you know. Also, ladies and gentlemen, today is the legendary Dionne Warwick's birthday. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
And one thing pretty cool as well, on December 27th, she's going to be here on the Sherrod Show. So give it up for Dionne Warwick.
Nice.
One of the last of the greats, so we're so excited as well. And then lastly, something that you might find very interesting as well is that what is the holiday where most people break up the most? Anybody know?
Valentine's Day.
Huh? You said Christmas? The day before Christmas, most people break up. Did you know why? So they don't have to buy a gift. I didn't know that, but that's amazing as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back from this brief commercial break, we're going to talk about the 5 things drunk people do. I'm Sherrod. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
And Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod. So excited about the individuals that's going to be on the show. You know, we got musical guests, we got singers, and we got somebody, like I said, if you say, fire, she's going to jump out the window. So we're so excited for all the people here. But you know, one thing is interesting. Somebody called on the show, and they also wrote me a letter, and they were drunk, apparently. So they didn't like one of my things I was saying about dating in the 5 points. And when he called, he talked and he was drunk. I said, sir, are you drunk? He said, what you answer the phone for if you knew I was drunk? But I said, okay, Joe, I'm going to come up with 5 things that drunk people do that they don't even know it. You want to hear this?
They don't know it.
Yes.
It's brought to you by my Rah Rah shoe collection, where every $1 goes to the fight for the cure for lupus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that drunk people do, this is a true story, all this is true. Point number 1, there was a man one day that was drunk and he was following the fire truck. And the fire truck, as the fire truck ran through lights, he ran through lights. And then when they got to the fire, he was there trying to put out a fire with his liquor bottle. That's true story. So don't drink.
Good work.
Point number 2, there was a drunk man one day who went to a party and he wasn't invited to the party, and he was the only one that got beat up at the party because he was too drunk to know he wasn't invited. So don't go to a party you weren't invited to.
It happens to me all the time, Stu.
Yeah.
Happens to me all the time.
We actually got footage of you going to a party where you were drunk.
It's embarrassing.
Point number 3, there was a man who was so drunk that he got hit by a parked car.
Yeah, that happens. That happens.
And then point number 4, there was a man so drunk he claimed he got bit by a dead dog. You heard about that? And then my final one, you don't want to drink because this man was so drunk he bought a free sample. I'm just dead. That's just why you shouldn't drink. Kids, do not drink. It is not good, okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we come back. We're going to have the beautiful Jessica Culberson talking about what started her in being a stunt lady. I'm Sherrod. We'll be right back. Right after.
Yeah. Yeah.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod, for a very, very special episode this evening where we're going to be talking to someone elite, just people that are so elite doing big, big things in the industry. Starting with this young lady. She is so young, but yet she's a stunt woman, and she's been doing it for a while. And she's here to tell her story about how she got started and what she's looking to aspire to. Give it up for the lovely Jessica Culberson, first time on the Sherrod Show. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Glad to be here. How
I'm
are
glad you didn't. I'm surprised you didn't drop in the chair like a stunt person.
I wish, but got the ceiling otherwise.
You know, we did an episode where we had a gentleman, 2 people on the show. Joe, you probably remember this, where we had Julius. He was a stunt man, and then we had Jade. She was a stunt woman as well. They were some of Hollywood's biggest stunt people ever. Now, what got you started on wanting to be a stunt person?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, I knew from a very young age that I wanted to do something in the film industry, so I knew I wasn't going to be a doctor or a lawyer. And I think when you go to film school, it can be very bland, if that's the word for it, because it's like you have your actor, writer, director, producer, and then it's like, that's it. But then you watch a big time movie and there's thousands of people in the credits, and I was like, what do all these people do? And so since I come from a background in climbing, I always thought that being a stunt coordinator would be a really fun job, or the people who create the stunts, because stunt coordinating and stunt rigging are 2 very different things I've come to learn. But yeah, I was just doing some research on how people get into stunt coordinating, and it's kind of like being a dancer where you can't really choreograph a dance unless you've actually been a dancer, otherwise it would be very hard. So it's the same thing for stunts. It's you can't really choreograph a stunt if you've never done the stunts. So yeah, then I took my first class at JAM, which is a very popular stunt gym. It was a fighting for film workshop, and ever since then I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
So Jessica, you sure you didn't get pushed out of a car on a date one day and said, you know what, I rolled over, so now I know I can do the stunt?
I can't say that I have, but I have been like skydiving, bungee jumping, hang gliding, all just for fun, like recreational activities. So I was like, well, if that's what I do for fun, like stunts isn't too far off. And whenever I tell my friends, I'm like, oh, like I want to do stunts, they're like, yeah. They're like, that makes so much sense for you.
So what was the first stunt you've ever done?
Ooh, well, I haven't been in the industry for like too long, so I've only done like fight choreography, or not fight choreography, but like, well, actually, yes, fight choreography. I just wasn't the one choreographing it. But just like fighting and recs and reactions, because those are probably your most basic jobs. And yeah, that's.
So now, when you're doing a stunt, like for example, there's a myth out there, because a lot of people, aside from Tom Cruise, most people don't know that the actors really aren't doing their own stunts, are they?
Yeah, they're not.
But Tom Cruise is typically doing it.
He's the GOAT, yeah.
Yeah. But like when you think, like for example, Steven Seagal and Jean-Claude Van Damme, they're really not doing those stunts, are they?
Well, it depends on the actor, really, because some actors, like Tom Cruise, do like to do their own stunts, but sometimes, depending on the stunt, like, they won't let the actor, because they're like, we have to have a professional for this. So it really just depends.
Now, are they really hitting each other when they're fighting in these fighting scenes as combat stunts?
Not usually, not intentionally, I'll say, but sometimes you will make contact. Like, I was just at the gym just doing some training with my friend the other day, and we were doing some weapons choreography. We were doing like a stick versus knife fight just for fun. And so I went to like duck, but I went to duck, and I came up, and then she had started her swing, so she swung a little bit late, and she like clocked me in the head with a stick. So, you know, it
Did a real
happens.
fight break out?
No,
Okay.
no, we're still like really close. But so sometimes you make contact, but it's usually not intentional.
Wow.
So.
Now, when being a stunt person, how's the pay? Like, is it really good pay to do the stunts, or you have to like pay your dues and become a big stunt person to get paid?
It depends on the stunt, because if something is like super simple, like maybe someone is doing like a stair fall, then, you know, not too intensive, then it's, you know, not a lot. But if you're doing like a high fall for like 60 feet or something that's more like a bigger stunt, then the more money you get.
Really?
So, yeah.
So the more risk of dying, the more money
Exactly.
you get. Oh,
That's a great way to think about it.
Very interesting, very interesting. Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to do a stunt where she's going to try and break Joe's ribs without him feeling it. Our executive producer. So we're going to work that. You ready for it, Joe?
It's happened before.
I'm Sherrod. We'll be right back right after this.
Yeah.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show for our very special Saturday conversation with the lovely Jessica Culberson, the stunt young lady. Wow. Now, when you turned around and told your parents you wanted to be a stunt person, were they upset? Did they say, wait a minute, we didn't pay for all this school for you to want to jump out of buildings and things?
I wouldn't say that they're upset, just because one thing I love about stunts is that it never really feels like I'm working, because what I'm doing is just what I already do for fun. I just get to get paid now. So it did take some getting used to, but they weren't like mad. They're here to support. And what they always say is that as long as your dreams can support whatever lifestyle you want, then they're here for it.
So what's the next thing you have coming up that you're going to be doing some magnificent stunts on?
Ooh, in terms of projects, I don't know right now. I know I have a lot of like director and producer friends, and they have a lot of projects that they're writing, and I'm like, hey, can you put a stunt in your film for me? And they're like, yeah. So a lot of that coming into the works. I am doing my first stair fall in like 3 days with some stunt people, just for my stunt reel, but
That's funny, because I could have been a stunt man. I got pushed down the stairs so many times in high school. I didn't get paid for
free,
it.
yeah.
That's crazy. Wow. So is it a special technique when you're getting pushed down the stairs?
Yes.
And what's that technique?
Well, you want to like roll with the momentum, and so you're like somewhat in control of what's happening, and otherwise you just kind of go. Like sometimes you just have to take the hit, and so yeah.
Really? So now, when are you going to do the stunt where, like, you're falling out of a exploding car or a building or something like that?
Whenever Tom Cruise wants to call me. Really.
Really? Now, is there a lot of women in stunts these days?
Not as many as there are men. I've been lucky enough to like be a part of both worlds, where I do have a lot of stunt friends that are women, which is really nice, but most of them are men. Yeah.
So when you're on a date, what does your boyfriend say when you tell him, like you meet a guy and you tell him, listen, I want to jump out of a car. You want to jump out of a car with me?
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, that's the first thing I gotta ask to see if he, matches the vibe, because if he gives me a weird reaction, then I'm like, he's out, really, so.
Wow. So now for those who are watching, there's a lot of young ladies. My daughter's one of them. She wanted to meet you. She couldn't be here today, but she wanted to. But my question is, what advice would you give to someone who is watching today, especially a young lady, in terms of being a stunt woman?
Ooh, what advice would I give?
What should they be looking out for in this industry?
If I were to say anything, I would say just be like a good person and be nice. Because even if you're the most talented person in the room, if you're like arrogant and rude, no one is gonna want to work with you anyway. So just, be genuine, be a good person, and of course, like train really hard. So when you do get that call, you're ready.
Very good. Now, is there a lot of, is that something out here you're always working when you're a stunt person? It's a lot of work for a stunt person?
Like looking for jobs.
I think there's a lot of employment for them.
There is, yeah, because it's very niche, and so it's kind of scary with like AI, because it's like if you're a writer, like maybe they could take your job, But with stunts, it's like it would be really hard to do AI for a person jumping out of like a burning building or something. So there's always room, and yeah.
Very good. Now, for those who are watching, where can they reach out to you?
You can find me on Instagram, which it's just my name, Jessica Culberson, but with 2 A's and 2 N's. So with the name, and yeah.
Thank you for stopping by the show, young
Thank
lady.
you.
Give her a round of
It's
applause.
great.
We really appreciate that. My goodness. So the next person that may be screaming out of an airplane over your home, that might just be you,
me.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
very
come on
good.
out.
Excellent, excellent. We wish her well. She's going far. She has the attitude,
Yes,
the look,
thank you.
and she's not scared of heights, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
When we come back from this brief commercial break, we're going to have the Prince, the man who can sing and dress, and all the way from Palm Springs, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton on the Sherrod Show. Right after this.
Yeah.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod. Didn't we enjoy that conversation with Jessica? My goodness.
Yeah.
I got a better applause at a funeral home last week. But I'm telling you, Jessica was wonderful, wasn't she? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. This is a bright, bright future. We're so excited. And ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, I heard his song. I heard his song on Spotify, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It was just in time for the holidays. And when I heard his song, I said I had to have him on the show. And now here he is. The man himself, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton.
Hey.
First time on the show. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Go and have a seat.
Thank you.
Prince,
Yes.
I was blown away not only by what I saw from your talents. You've been around for a long time, doing great things, and then you top it off with an incredible Christmas song. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind that.
Which one? Wishing You Were Here at Christmas, the new one. It's dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
All
yes.
right. Well, we all have people that we have maybe lost, or people that we're no longer in our lives. And everybody sings a happy Christmas song, but this is like a lamenting Christmas song, and it's wishing you were here to bring back the magic that's gone.
It's long. It's 3 minutes and 50 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's telling a story. Is it more personal?
It tells a story.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, when I first presented this to a few of my friends, they went, "Oh my God, there's something here. This song is amazing. This song is going to do something." And I kind of believed it, but the way everybody's reacting to it, it's like, okay, I guess it really is.
Yeah, very good. Now, you've actually been in the industry since you were 5, right?
Since I was 5 years old, yes. At 5 years old, I sang with my first orchestra. And I was heard by a orchestra conductor, and I was invited to sing with them. And I think, as we were talking earlier before the show, I came in with this. I've never had a voice lesson in my life. I opened my mouth and it was there. And I've been very blessed to be able to do this for many years, and I love what I do, and I am just as enthusiastic and excited every time that I go out there.
Give him a round of applause, and you can feel it. It's amazing. It's amazing. So now, what keeps you going? Because being in the industry since you were 5, and then now growing up in the industry and the ups and downs, what is it that keeps you motivated? Sometimes, you seem like, wow, when am I going to make it? Or I sometimes feel like I want to give up.
Well, I think because when I was little, I always knew what I was going to do my whole life. I knew when I first stepped foot on that stage, I knew what my life was going to be. And I've never lost that vision. And like I said, I'm excited. Every project that comes up, I'm excited just like it was the very first time ever. And that's all I can tell you. I'm like a little kid. I'm like a little kid with a new toy each time.
Very good. Now, people don't know, but you actually were in Broadway, is that correct?
Yeah, well, I did off-Broadway, and I did a lot of musicals, revival musicals, and I was always auditioning to get on main Broadway, and they always wanted me as a dancer, because that's what I was doing at the time, too. And it was like, no, I'm above the line. It's like, if I can't have a part, I don't want to do it. So I left New York and I went back to Ohio where I grew up, and I said I'm going to become a nightclub entertainer. And I did that for many, many years. So I've done everything in the business. I've toured nationally. I've been a gaffer, a stagehand, like all of us. I've done everything in the business.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's funny, ladies and gentlemen, they have a nickname for him. They call him the White Sammy Davis Jr.
That's right.
now, why do they call you that?
Well, because I can do everything he did. I'm a singer and actor and dancer, and I was very fortunate right before she passed, Altavice Davis, Sammy Davis Jr.'s wife. I met her at a Christmas party, and I went up to her, and we laughed, and she said, "Oh my God, you're the White Sammy Davis Jr." and then she hugged me, and she said, "Oh, and you're the same size." And I said, "Well, do you have any clothes left?"
Now, when you look at the industry, how much has it changed since you were a 5-year-old in it now, being fully grown?
Oh, let's see, how's it changed? Well, it's changed in the way that it's open now to a more diverse group of people, people of older generations, people that may be not beautiful, people that may not be a size 0, that it's more diverse, and there's opportunities for everybody in this business.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to find out who was the biggest name this man ever worked with. I'm Sherrod. We'll be right back right after this. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod, for our Saturday conversation with the man himself, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton, talking about his song as well as his career. Now, Prince, in all of the years you've been doing it, who was one of the biggest names or most memorable persons you ever worked with?
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, I worked on a film with him, and he was probably the nicest person I have ever worked with, other than Mark Singer. I'm in a movie, it's out right now, Team of Two, written and starring Josh Gomez, but Mark Singer is one of the stars of the film, and what a giving, loving person he is. Oh my God. But Anthony Hopkins, between takes, it was interesting. I was standing there, and he just looked at me and he goes, "Oh, Prince, you want to take a picture together?" It was like, I was really astounded, because major stars usually, they won't talk to any, other people, and they usually stay in character. And he broke character, and I was like, wow, that was really great.
So now this was before Silence of the Lambs or after?
This was in the 90s.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when did Silence of the Lambs come out? That was like 97 or so?
Could be. Yeah, it was probably around the same time. Probably it was afterwards. I think it was 98, 99.
Okay. So now when you look at that, for example,
yeah.
Speaking with Anthony Hopkins and things, and you see like big stars like him who are humble and all that, what does that lend to for those who are watching? Because a lot of times you run into, like I always say, some of the most difficult people to deal with are people who want to be famous or are almost famous.
Well, the thing is, as your last guest was speaking, I think it's because I'm very spiritual. I have a very deep spiritual base, and that guides me. And actually, I have a voice that talks to me and tells me what I'm supposed to do, and that's what brought me here. But that's for another show. Mm-hmm. But stay I think it keeps me in check, my humbleness and my ego. Plus, I'm involved in so many other projects. I do a lot of humanitarian work. And I'm very honored that a year ago I was presented a doctorate in humanitarianism from the Global International Alliance. Yeah.
Very good.
And then I don't know if you know that, you've read my bio.
I've read
and
it.
also, I'm an ambassador for a country in Africa, Beerland, and I sing their anthem for them.
Give me another round of applause. Very, very good. So now, for those who are watching and they're very inspired, I know they're very inspired by you, what kind of advice would you give, even during the rough times, you know, of being in this industry?
Never stop believing in yourself or believing what you do, because no one can define you but you. Never allow other people to tell you who you are or what you're supposed to be. Because I've had that in my career. I've had managements that try to create me into something that I'm not. And I decided years ago I was never going to put myself in that box, that I was going to have to, like Marilyn Monroe and all these other stars, they had to be somebody that they weren't. And it caused them so much mental stress that just be yourself, do what you do. If you love what you do, oh my God, just do it. And it doesn't matter what other people think.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because they were trying to typecast me as a pickle. And I was tired of being a pickle. So I could have never been this if they, anyway.
Well, I had management once that was trying to turn me into somebody else. And I one day I was like, wait, there's something wrong with this picture. I've hired them to work for me. And it's like, I'm working for them. And I said, you know what? I hired you I didn't hire you to reinvent the wheel. I hired you to find me a road to drive my wheel on.
Very good. Wow. Now, if there's time in the show, will you be able to sing us a song?
You want me to sing a song?
If there's time in the show.
Okay, sure.
Okay, give me a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Very good. Mr. Prince Fleet Easton is going to be back later on the show to possibly sing a song. We're so happy to hear it. Hopefully he'll sing the song that I absolutely love as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when we come back, we're going to have the beautiful, uber talented Miss Ann Britt on the Sherrod Show.
Yeah.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod. Had a wonderful conversation with the man himself, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton. Did you enjoy him? Oh, man. He will be back later on the show to do a sing and serenade us as well. We're so excited. And also, this beautiful young lady, I was so excited. I heard her, check your monitor. I heard her playing the piano and singing, and I said, this lady has a voice, and she's so, so talented. Let's book her. And well, ladies and gentlemen, here she is, all the way from Palm Springs, the beautiful Ann Britt on the Sherrod Show. Welcome, Ann.
Thank you.
How are you, darling?
Thank you so much.
Such
Thank
an
you.
honor.
Thank you so much.
Come on, have a seat.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank you so much.
You know, I was looking at your music and the things you've been doing. You've been doing it for a long time. You've been kind of playing and being an artist and singing for a long time, but how long have you been doing it?
I have been singing my whole life. Like my mom said, she doesn't remember when I didn't sing. I'm born and raised in Denmark. I was a competitive swimmer, and while I was swimming, I was singing.
Singing through them
and
laps.
while I was biking back and forth to school or swimming, I was singing. I was always making up songs, and then I went to the Danish church and became a solo singer there. In 1992, I came to California and continued singing, you know, doing little things here and there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and then I'm here now, you know, later in life, finally really doing what I always loved to do under circumstances I didn't know was going to happen to me.
Now, when you look at your music, for example, you write your own music?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how many albums have you done over the years?
Well, this is my first album, believe it or not. This is my first album at the age of 55.
Wow.
And I have a story why.
You said 55.
Yes.
Can we check some ID? Are you serious?
Sure.
My goodness.
I'm not afraid. Yeah, I'm saying that. But the reason why I have not done it because life sometimes takes us a different road that we did not know we were going to go on. I came here in 1992 and got married very, very young. And I thought, well, I'm going to continue doing my music and my love for music as I always did in Denmark. But my marriage, you know, my ex-husband did not believe that that was something for me. So I was in a relationship for many, many, many years where I was focusing on my kids and surviving. And so finally I was strong enough and grew up enough to leave. And then 10 years ago, I met my most incredible husband that believed in me and said, you can totally do this. So I started believing in myself and I started writing songs. And then 2 years into our marriage, I got chronically ill. Just like that, I couldn't walk. And I had a problem with my stomach, my neck. I had all these things happen to me. What is going on? And I couldn't do my gigs in town anymore. I couldn't do my music. I couldn't do all these things. But one musician told me, Ann, but you can start writing the songs you always wanted to write. Mm-hmm. And I did. And it was my way of therapy. I was a way to get through what I was going through. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm on a feeding tube. I'm on a feeding tube all day long because my stomach doesn't work. I have something called gastroparesis. Due to a chronic illness, I finally find out what it was after years of not knowing what it was. But I'm diagnosed with a condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a connective tissue disorder that affects the whole body, and for me, mostly my stomach. It's kind of like, doesn't work, paralyzed, as well as my walking. So my music, when you see me playing the piano, that's my place that I go to calm my nervous system, a place I go where I'm happy, a place I go to feel good. And then one song got created, another one, and then here I am with my first album, and I have 4 more songs coming out next year.
Give a round of applause. That is beautiful. Wow, that is so phenomenal. Congratulations. Now, the songs on your album, are they a testament of your struggles, love loss? It's very personal?
Yeah.
And what's the title of it?
My title of the album is called Another Way, because I am, the picture of there's always another way. Don't give up on your dreams, even at my age, you can still make it and you can still do what you always wanted to do. And yes, definitely all my song is very personal. I wrote every single song in a very long period. I was kind of like very small steps, because when I was going through my illness, there was times I could only sit at the piano for a very small amount every day. I was in bed, I was had surgery after surgery. So it took a long time.
Is it a cure for it?
No. But it's okay, because I got my music. So every song I've written is kind of my therapy, the way I've gotten through every single day. And as I'm writing them and coming out with them and showing others, I realize those songs are so important for everybody else. We're all going through struggles in time, right? And my message is always, yes, we're struggling, but there's always another way, and there's always a positive message. I've always been a coach, and a teacher, so I'm glad I can use my message through my music.
Give a round of applause. Very good. Very good. Now, your album is out now?
Yep, it came out this year.
Now, where can we purchase it?
You can get it on all streaming platforms worldwide. It's on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you name it. And you just have to find it under Ann Britt, ANN-BRITT, Ann Britt.
Now, everybody knows me. When I ask about people's music, I only buy them in one form, and it has to be on 8-track. Does it come in 8-track? I need to know that.
Yes.
It comes in, see that? Now I want to buy it. I got to get it in 8-track. Joe has my 8-track player. Joe, can you give it back to me?
I broke it.
I'll give one personal to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have her beautiful mugs and product line as well. More with Ann Britt right after this. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod, for a very insightful conversation with the lovely Ann Britt. In my hand is a mug, not just a mug, but this is one of her beautiful mugs, There Is Always Another Way. This is your theme. Is
Yeah.
is that what your company name is off of?
That's my little slogan. There's always another way, and I use it on social media. Everything I do, I always finish with remember, there's always another way.
So when people, there's so many times people want to give up because they were diagnosed with something, life-threatening
I
or
know,
terminal or
yeah.
things like that. But, you're an inspiration to many. Do you oftentimes have people reaching out to you because you've encouraged them?
Yes, yeah, and that keeps me going too. I'm so lucky that I have the opportunity to help others as well. It means a lot because there's times as well, I know right here I'm dressed up and I have my makeup on, but there's lots of times where I'm in bed in a lot of pain, every night, but those people helps me as well. So yeah, it's a blessing, and I'm very grateful that I can help others as well.
Now, are you doing concerts, or are you doing where you go out and kind of sing and
Yes.
perform?
Yes, I am doing little things. Due to my chronic illness, I have to find another way. So I can do small shows, like an hour shows, openings and things like that. But big, long shows like I did before, I did 3-hour gigs all by myself, bringing my gear and stuff. Unfortunately, that's out of my way of doing it at the moment. But I can do small things, and that's okay.
Very good. I wish we brought the piano. I would have had you do your thing here.
Yeah.
But what particular song on your album is the one that that kind of typifies everything that we can look forward to listening to?
I was actually listening to all my songs on the way because I had a long drive, 3-hour drive, and it was interesting because there were some of the songs I have not listened to myself for a long time, and I realized, there's a lot of good songs, and they all have a message. So that's a hard question because I have so many. But of course, there's a song, Another Way. There is a song on my album called Another Way, and it's a song about, don't ever forget where you're coming from, your strength, That's a beautiful song I would definitely love you to hear. There's a song called Butterfly. There is a song called Smoky Clouds. There's so many beautiful songs on the album.
Very good. You're gonna go diamond. I'm telling you, you're gonna go platinum, diamond, and all that. Definitely with this. She's just doing some big things. It's so exciting. So now, Ann, where can they purchase, first of all, your product line?
Well, it's very special because I have not had out online yet to purchase, so you're the first one.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So, and I want to tell you just really quick about the Butterfly is that one of the things I do as well is I like to draw. So this is one I draw while I was getting my infusions. Every month I get my infusions because I have it's part of my illness, I need that. So you sit there for 4 hours, what do? And I start drawing this butterfly, and it started just with a little black and white, and then it turned to that, and I thought, I need to put this as a part of my brand, because I have a song called Butterfly that is about the hardest time I was going through before I knew what was going on with me. So the butterfly is my design, so here it is.
Beautiful. Now, there's people wanting to purchase this now. Where do they go to purchase it?
Well, I will have it on my website very, very soon. So don't give up on me. Keep it. Follow me on social media, and I will announce when they are available.
Okay, well, stay in contact properly, but as this episode airs on television, this will be available.
Yes.
Now, you got to answer this question. I always get it. I'm not trying to be funny, but can you purchase these with EBT? They want to know. People are going to ask me that, so they take EBT.
Well, you know what? If anybody just private message me, and I will personally give one for free.
I really appreciate that. That question is always asked. And where can they reach out to you on Facebook?
On Facebook, social media, it's under Ann Britt Music. All in one, Ann Britt Music.
You're an inspiration to all of us. Thank you. Give another round of applause.
Thank you so much for having me.
Such a wonderful, wonderful young lady. Make sure you purchase her CD as well as get her product line. And we're going to have her back on the show very soon to perform. You got to hear her voice. You just got to hear her voice, and her performance is absolutely incredible. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have the man who is an icon. He's responsible for some of the biggest hits from some of the biggest names. And he's going to return here on the Sherrod Show, Mr. Preston Glass, right after this. Thank you, young lady.
Thank you.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod, having a wonderful, wonderful time. My goodness, wasn't that an incredible sit-down conversation with the lovely Ann Britt? If you didn't want to shed a tear, you need to maybe check if you have a pulse. This lady is sweet, very talented. Make sure you get one of her mugs and also pick up her CD. I'm going to be holding my special 8-track version when I get it. I'm going to be so excited about that as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of years ago, this gentleman stopped by on the Sherrod Show. This man is a mega producer. Many call him a super producer. He's produced for big names such as Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Diana Ross, just to name a few. And he's so humble, but he has a wonderful story to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man himself, Mr. Preston Glass.
How you doing? Good to see you.
Preston, you know, it's such an honor having you back on the show.
Good to be here.
You've been a very busy man, and you're responsible for some of the biggest hits. How does that set with you when you listen to the radio and hear that you've been responsible for some of the biggest hits that we listen to?
Well, I've had a few, but you know, I'm always a fan of music, so I'm not so much into what I'm doing, but I'm listening to what other people are doing, and I'm always inspired by other musicians, other songwriters. So that keeps me going. And this was always kept me going from the time I was little till now.
You know, I recently had, and God rest his soul, he's been on the show a couple of times, but he recently passed away about a week ago, Mr. Reggie Dozier.
Yeah.
And he was a really good friend and fan of the show. But he mentioned, in terms of, you know, you were one of the most talented people he's known, and he mentioned you with the likes of Miles Davis. How does that set with you?
You were talking about somebody being drunk, was that? No, I don't know about that comparison, but Reggie, yeah, great friend, and of course his brother Lamont, he was one of the greatest songwriters of all time, and I had the good fortune of writing a few songs with him. So I've been real fortunate, and you know, I owe it all to my creator. And I was fortunate that when I was 5 years old, I wasn't like a lot of other kids. They want to go out and play and get into some badness in the neighborhood or whatever. I wanted to sit down and listen to my little 45s, not an 8-track, but I had 45s. And I also looked at these little records and looked at not just the artists, but the names in the parentheses, and I would see, well, who's that person? Who's that? Who's Carole King? Who is Burt Bacharach? Those names, as my father told me, those are the songwriters, and those are the ones that make the money. So I was intrigued by that. So I started writing songs when I was like 5 years old, before I really even knew what I was doing. But that told me.
What was the first song you ever written?
That I ever wrote?
Mm-hmm.
It was a, you had to ask that. It was a song called Sad Feeling, but I do remember it. Mm-hmm. It was, I've got a sad feeling, my head is up to the ceiling. I don't know why she said goodbye. Guess I better hang my head and cry. Now, for a 5-year-old, not bad, huh?
Not
The
bad
song was
at all.
never recorded.
Did she really
And
do that to you?
That's the other thing that is very interesting you asked that. A lot of the things that I've written, I've never went through. It's just my imagination, you know. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a girlfriend or whatever relationship. And, but my imagination runs wild. And fortunately, some of the songs that I've had that has done well, a lot of times people ask me, did you write that for your wife? I say, sure. Whatever you say. But she knows, and she's shaking her head right there. No way.
So Preston, what's the art of being a good songwriter? Is writing a great song that's believable, and then having an artist that can perform it and sell it, in terms of the sell what you were writing.
Yeah, I think it's important because I know that writing music is something that is not going to be just enjoyed by myself, but by all those who hear it. So it's important to try and make it as universal as possible. I remember I wrote a song called Love Me for Who I Am for this young man, and it meant something to me, meant something specific in my mind, but it meant something totally different to him, and he loved that song. And then when it came out, other people were saying that it meant something different to them. And that really taught me that if it can be universal, there's nothing wrong with that. You know?
Now, do you still write for various artists?
Yes, yes. I'm fortunate I keep busy. You know, I'm a senior citizen now, but officially. But I have my own record label out of England, and we release product every 6 weeks. So sometimes this product I write, sometimes this product I get from other artist writers, but all the time is projects I produce or arrange, because that's the arrangement we have with the distributor. So it keeps me busy because we have to prepare product and you know, come up with new artists, or sometimes it's established artists looking for a home. So I'm
Very
very
good.
fortunate.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the hits that he's responsible for and his proudest moment as a writer. I'm Sherrod. We'll be right back right after And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod, for a very special conversation with the man himself, Mr. Preston Glass, a super producer as well as a writer. Now, Preston, what is some of your most proudest work you've ever done?
A lot of my work has been with people that I grew up idolizing, that I never thought I would even meet, let alone work with, and then I end up becoming their producer, and they're sitting or standing behind the microphone and asking for my direction. I learned early on that I can't be too in awe. They're asking for my help, so I have to, you know, but after they leave, I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, that was just Johnny Mathis, or that was George Benson. And a lot of these people have become friends of ours, and I've learned that they're just people. They're talented, they've got gifts, but they're people like me, you know, and I've been real fortunate.
You know what's interesting, Preston, for example, some of the most prolific songwriters that come to mind for me, Sam Cooke, and it's just an anniversary, it was the 61st anniversary of his mysterious death on the 11th, December 11th. Smokey Robinson is quite phenomenal. And then you look at, for example, Smokey Robinson, Sam Cooke, and then also Curtis Mayfield was quite profound
you
as well.
named three of the greatest right there. One of my most exciting moments, I never worked with Smokey, but I saw him at a restaurant, and this was after I had a few little successes as a songwriter, but I saw him and Berry Gordy sitting there eating dinner and enjoying, you know, people coming up to him. And I noticed a lot of people were coming up to Smokey, and he was very gracious, and people were taking pictures. Nobody was coming up to Berry Gordy because I don't think they knew who he was. So I said to myself, I'm gonna go up to him, because they don't know he's the founder of Motown, you know? And I went up to him. He didn't give me the time of day. He was like, what are you doing? And interrupting my dinner. But then I went up to Smokey, and I had my little business card. I said, excuse me, Smokey, my name is Preston Glass. He goes, I know who you are. You're a great songwriter.
Oh, wow.
And that right there, I didn't care what Berry Gordy had said. I was like, in my mind, he thinks I'm a great song. So that was a beautiful moment for me. But like I said, even though, like if Smokey were to call next week, I'd have to put on my producer hat or whatever, and he wanted me to produce a record for him. I can't be in awe. I have to sit there and do what the record company hired me for, and do what I've been gifted to do.
So now, Preston, for those who are watching, for example, and they want to get signed with your label, what is it that you look for in an artist? First of all, are you looking for like hip hop, R&B, rock star? What is it that typically your label's looking for?
In particular, the label I have is distributed by Soul Music. So while there are different flavors of soul, like you got jazz soul, you got pop soul, you got soul, hip hop soul, anything in that vein. But as far as artists, new artists, I'm looking for people who are themselves. Like you mentioned, Sam Cooke, Curtis Mayfield, and Smokey Robinson. Every one of those they don't sound alike. None of those sound alike, but yet they're all magnificent. So somebody new that doesn't try and copy somebody else, somebody that does their own thing, and you know, tries to put out songs or music that expresses themselves, not somebody else.
You know, I'm on a mission to bring back the doo-wop. You gonna help me bring back the doo-wop?
I love doo-wop.
I love the doo-wop.
me
You know,
too.
people don't know Motown killed the doo-wop, but we got to bring it back.
Motown killed the doo-wop.
That's what they told me. That the
Well, I
doo-wop
don't know
went
about
out of
that.
business when Motown came along. Matter of fact, you see that all over. But we got to bring back the doo-wop,
Oh, sure.
and then you got to help me bring back the Jerry curl. Can you help me bring back both of those?
That's a tall wish that I'm not the one to do that. But,
Well, we'll just stick with the doo-wop for those who are old enough to know it. So, Preston, where can they reach out to you for those who are watching?
on Instagram, I'm pglass1012, and if there's another P-Glass out there, I'm always the one with the hats, as you might notice there. And then also Facebook, Preston Glass with the hats. I have a website my label does through soulmusic.com. So.
Very good. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate Preston stopping by on the Sherrod Show. When we come back from this brief commercial break, we're going to have my final thoughts, and then we're going to have Mr. Prince taking us on home. I'm Sherrod. We'll be right back right after this.
Thank you, my brother.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Sherrod Show. I'm your host, Sherrod. Didn't you have a wonderful time today? These are some incredible, incredible guests. I want to personally thank them for stopping off. First of all, for the lovely Jessica Culberson. Give her a round of applause. The stunt woman doing big, big things. And then we had the man himself, Mr. Prince Fleet Easton. Give him a round of applause. Oh, man. Then we had the very touching, very profound, and beautiful young lady, Miss Ann Britt. I still got to check her ID. Give her a round of applause as well. And then Preston Glass, he's very humble, but if you look him up, ladies and gentlemen, he is a superstar. That man is an icon. He's written for the biggest. You need to write a song for me. We're going to bring the doo-wops back together. I'm telling you, we're going to bring back the doo-wop. Give it up for Mr. Preston Glass. Then also, ladies and gentlemen, you all are invited to the Oscar party. We have an Oscar party that's coming up that's hosted by The Sherrod Show. This is in March 15th. Sherrod Show is going to be doing an Oscar viewing party. We're the biggest party in Hollywood. All of the big names and celebrities will be there. There'll be food, fashion, fun, and the Sherrod Show on the red carpet. You got to get your tickets because tickets are going fast. You definitely want to check that out. You can see me after the show, or you can also click on the link to get your ticket. It's going to be a huge affair. Again, that's March 15th. And ladies and gentlemen, we got something very special as well. This is my product line, my Sherrod collection wallets, as well as keychain. And what's very dear to me is I am a sufferer of lupus, and every $1 goes to the fight for the cure for lupus. We have many colors, so you definitely want to get yours today, and you can help fight a great cause. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman, again, I said he has to do his song. He has to sing something to bring us out, and he will. And ladies and gentlemen, before he comes on, make sure you stay tuned for the next episode of The Sherrod Show for December 27th, where the lovely Dionne Warwick will be here. And then also make sure you subscribe to The Sherrod Show on the Pure Essence Television Network, as well as on Airy TV. You don't want to miss it. And then always remember, ladies and gentlemen, the best way to get back on your feet is to miss 3 car payments. And now give it up for Prince.
Thank you so much, Sherrod. You know, I had the fortunate pleasure 2 days ago of Spotify naming one of my songs as the top pop Christmas song for their playlist for this year. And it's called Why Can't Christmas Be Here Every Day? And I'd like to sing a few lines for you. Why can't Christmas be here every day? So we all can hear the children say, put your boots on, come let's go. Pull our sleds up through the snow. Let's slide down the biggest hill in town. Let's take turns making angels in the snow. And pretend our wings can fly, let's go. Just like angels from above, singing songs of peace and love. Singing all the Thank you. Keeping faith in God above. Why can't Christmas be here every day?